This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC. I have Neal from Stick Mobility. We're going to talk about getting his product proliferating throughout the bricks and mortar health club and boutique fitness sector, the traction he's gotten so far, and the results that youth and adult athletes are getting using the product. So Neal, welcome to the Halo Talks.
Appreciate it, Pete. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. So, you said you started out in the golf industry as an athlete. So talk about how this product kind of came to be, and why you and your co-founders decided to make this your life's profession.
Yeah. So I played golf in college, and then when I was done, I wanted to be a pro golfer, but I wasn't quite good enough for that. So, and I didn't want to sit behind a desk all day, even though I'm doing that more often now. So I became a personal trainer. Started training in 2007, and then in 2015, my business partner and I, Dennis Dunphy, we took a course with Dr. Arthur Fagenholtz, who taught stick stretching, and so he became one of our mentors, and we told him hey, look, we can definitely evolve this thing into, if we start adding in strength training. We found different ways to use a stick to create leverage, but then added isometrics in there and created it. So it wasn't just this passive stretching. It was, hey, how can we get strong in all these different positions? So then we evolved it into stick mobility, and then ended up partnering with a couple of my clients to actually create the product, which you see right behind me right now.
Gotcha. So let's just first talk about technology. And everyone's always trying to build the next software platform. Everyone's trying to, create connected fitness. You guys are kind of back to the basics of look, this might be all you really need. And, let's talk about optimizing a stick and what the value of that is, which, most entrepreneurs don't really think about it that way. They think about crossing the chasm and coming up with the most innovative product. However, you guys said, hey, look, I know how this works. It's mass market appeal, and I just have to educate people on how to use it. So talk about that journey and how it may be countered to your, growing up on, AOL Messenger and, all the different Facebook and so on and so forth.
Well, so when we started stick stretching, you're like, gosh, this is so simple. We're just using a dowel, right? And you're like, but it's so effective and people really feel it. But when we started using it with our clients, we couldn't just use a dowel. It wasn't quite strong enough. Maybe it could break. So then, we tried PVC. We're like, okay, well, PVC is good. It's a little bit flexible, but it's brittle at the same time. We don't want the same snap. So then we partnered up with one of my clients. He was able to figure out a good blend of plastics, get a proper grip on it for stability. So now we have this, it's a stick, but it's strong, it's flexible. So now the flexibility of the stick, it can bend around our bodies while we're getting into these different shapes. At the same time with the grips, now we have support in the ground so we can anchor it and it won't slide while we're doing some of our hanging and stretching drills.
So what were some of the aha moments that you had originally, whether it was sports related or whether it was, a specific team where you said, hey, this is a product and now we actually have a company? When did you kind of feel that?
So, when we first intended to use it, we just wanted to give our clients some extra benefits. So Dennis and I would teach extra classes on the weekends using bamboo sticks. This was before it evolved into the actual product that we have right now. And we started posting stuff on social media, started gaining some traction. And then that was when we brought the idea about, hey, let's create an actual good stick that we could use with our clients. So it's safer, it's stronger. That's when we partnered up with one of my clients. We got that out. And then we got a message from the head strength coach of the Cincinnati Bengals at the time. And he was going to come down to our area they were going to go play the San Francisco 49ers. He saw a couple posts on social media, thought it looked really interesting, wanted to meet up with us. So we met with him for 2 hours at their hotel to show him what we do. He loved it. He asked us if we had a certification process. We said no. And so then, we spent the next few months. We created a certification. We got it accredited. And then he flew us out to Cincinnati, and the first course that we taught was to the Cincinnati Bengals strength and conditioning staff.
Nice.
And so that kind of spearheaded everything and got us going.
And when you look at a certification, well, how long does that take? Obviously you get, a TRX certification, over a weekend. You get a Zumba certification. So how detailed is that? And how did you think about certifying people to basically use your brand? Obviously, that was something that's your baby. You don't want to just let anybody use it and say this is a program kind of certified by us.
Yeah, so it's a 2-day course, similar to what you may go through with TRX and some of the different certifications. It's 8 hours each day. It's pretty intense. It's very physical. So we want to see that you as an instructor can actually physically go through this and demonstrate things well. And then there is a test at the very end. There's a practical test to show that you can teach this, and then there's also a written test as well.
So how many trainers do you have that are certified now? And are they across the country, across the world? How does that look like now?
Gosh, I don't have an exact number, but I know it's definitely over 500. It's across the country and internationally too. So we have distributors and coaches in Asia and Europe, Australia, New Zealand.
Got it. What are those instructors? Are they basically personal trainers doing their own group exercise? Mostly outdoors or sports specific. What do you know about them?
We have a lot of personal trainers, but we also have a lot of physical therapists and chiropractors. We do have some strength coaches that are working with teams. It's a pretty. What's been nice about the sticks is it crosses both strength and conditioning and into the physical therapy side. So you get a nice blend of things you can do depending on what intensity you go at. And it's simple enough where you can teach it in a group format too.
So as we talked about before, getting on the podcast here, a lot of the clients we have are always looking for innovative new programming, inside of health clubs or inside of boutique fitness. Just off the top of your head, what are some of the ways you think this could be integrated into, whether it's a CrossFit type of workouts, high intensity training, yoga, obviously stretching. I think counterintuitively to us has become like its own standalone entity, which, used to just be inside of, somebody else's health club or inside of, a spa or something like that. But there have been proven results there on Stretch Labs and Stretch Zone in particular. So how do you think about the stick becoming an integral part of any one of those categories? Or is there a sport that you say, like, look, we've got material results and this is something super interesting, whether it's golf or what have you?
I think if you're from just a training perspective, I think for a dynamic warm up, it's really great because you're able to challenge your whole body, take it through all these different ranges of motion, planes of movement, but at the same time, with the tool, you're able to create tension. So we're not just taking you through this passive range of motion. You're able to build strength while you're into these big ranges of motions, which is important for every part of life, but definitely athletics. As an active recovery, it's great. If you're super sore, you can still do the training. You can just scale the intensity down. And so, there's all kinds of different elements that it can be incorporated into. We've seen CrossFit gyms use it for like their dynamic warm up, and then they may have like a separate, hey, let's do an active stretching day where we take 20 minutes with a stick, and we just do more recovery drills. On the sports side of things, we've seen some people use it for strength days where they may not need to be quite as intense and they don't want to load themselves up, but they can still simulate some of the same drills with the isometrics using a stick.
Gotcha. So what are some of the things when you started the company, maybe talk through the co-founders that you have. Obviously, it sounds like you guys have been pretty patient. You're also doing personal training, so you got some ancillary revenue coming in addition to the product side of the company. Talk about that journey for the entrepreneurs here that, might say, hey, I want to take a leap, and some of the things, you've learned, or that, if you could do it again, hey, we might have done it this way, or any kind of, antidotes?
Yeah, I think I've been fortunate to have good partners, and everyone has a different specialty. So Dennis and I are, we're more in charge of the programming and the training, and then my other partners maybe on the back end. So there's not a lot of crossover in what we specialize in, so we're able to focus on what we're really good at. So I think if you can put together a team, if you are looking at building a product or a program or something like that, uh, don't try to be the don't try to do everything yourself, because you spread yourself pretty thin, and it's much more difficult to do it that way. So that's why we've still been able to continue, the personal training that we enjoy and like to do. Not just that, it's also a testing grounds for everything that we do with the stick, and see, hey, look, this works, this doesn't work. We can throw this out. But then we have our guys on the other side of things that take care of the website, all the international law stuff, things that Dennis and I would have no idea, what to do.
Right. From a standpoint of, it's called stick mobility. Obviously, you're bringing it everywhere. Is
Mm-hmm.
this kind of like, the equivalent of like hockey players bringing their hockey stick and popping in a bag and traveling with it and picking it up at the oversized baggage claim area, or is it like a pool stick? People are kind of running around with that on the road.
Uh, I think the sports teams have traveled with it. I'm not sure like the average person has traveled with it much, unless it's the shorter one. I've had different clients put the shorter one in their golf bag, so that they can do different warm up drills. We just came out with a travel bag, so that if you did want to carry a bunch of sticks on the plane, you could easily do that. But
Gotcha.
for the most part, traveling around with it on the plane, it's been like the big sports teams or college teams that do it.
Gotcha.
Can you talk, Neil, about your collaborations a little bit that we talked about before we hit record? Those are kind of interesting.
Yeah, we've done a golf program. So one on the golf mobility side. So trying to target the key areas in the body that specifically help you with improving your golf swing. Not just from like the power and speed standpoint, but also the longevity of your golf swing. So we partnered up with Ben Shear, who's worked with PJ Tour players for the last decade or two. We also did a golf improvement program with Jake Hutt, who's a PJ professional, and so we use the stick in a way that it helps you get the right feel for your golf swing to improve your golf swing technique. And then we worked with Dr. Emily Splickle, who's the founder of Naboso Technology. She's a podiatrist, and she's big into foot function. And so we did a running program with her where we combined her Nabosu mat and the sticks.
Cool. And for people who may not know what the product looks like and they didn't click over to your website yet, but they should, can you talk about actually what the product looks like and what the offerings there are? Because to them, they just maybe thinking it's a stick, it's a piece of PVC pipe, and it's far more than that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the stick itself is made of a proprietary blend of plastics. It's strong, it's durable, it can flex. So we do have these Boeing drills that people may have seen. It can bend around your body. It's strong enough for you to be able to hang on it. We do have different sizes. So based on your height, there is a stick that's better for you. So if you're shorter than 5'10", then you probably want to go with the 6-foot training sticks. If you're taller than that, then you want to go with the 7-foot training sticks. We do have a shorter stick too that's available that you can. It's easier to travel with, maybe put in your golf bag. But we also do like shorter joint mobility drills and core exercises with a shorter stick too. And then on the sticks, so it's not just a stick. We have a specialized grip on there that's very similar to a golf grip. And then so you get some tactile feedback, but it also gives you anchoring into the ground. Or if you're pushing the stick into the wall or a ceiling to do some isometric drills for strengthening, it's good for that too.
And then, from a standpoint of growing the business, you got a product that probably doesn't break. We've dealt with some companies that the quality of the product's so good that it's hard to get recurring purchases. of it from a business model standpoint. So how do you think about the next phase of growth? Obviously, you guys have a business that it sounds like you got a big network where you are in San Jose, and you've got a personal training business, which I'm assuming is very profitable and thriving. So how do you think about this as, all in? I'm an entrepreneur, or hey, I'm a personal trainer. I've come up with this awesome product. We're going to sell it. We're going to help a lot of people, and I'm not looking for venture capital. I'm not looking to sell the company. Like, I'm good. And maybe that I'm sensing that might be kind of where you guys are at, which is kind of counter to a lot of groups that start up something and say, hey, I'm going to be the next X big company. Maybe this product is a great value to people and you're going to keep doing it, but I'm not looking at what's my exit strategy, what's my margins, do I got to talk to investors? Talk us through that, because I'm sensing that you're kind of content where you are and like just keep rolling and helping a lot of people, or tell me otherwise.
I mean, I think ultimately we want to grow this thing as big as we can, right? It's a big benefit, and then it can still help people no matter what. I mean, if whether we stay with the company forever or we end up one day moving on. So I think that the next step is trying to get into different markets. Like personal training has been our biggest market. Getting into these sports teams. It's kind of funny because we started with these pro teams, and then now we're kind of working our way more to the general public. So this next step is the general public, which is the biggest market out there, right? And then tapping more into this golf market as well. So I think what we were talking about earlier, like getting into this group exercise, maybe simplifying things down so that it can be in every single club, could be the next step for really growing the company.
Yeah, we were working with a company and we came up with, I think, a great idea, and they actually just started to do it finally, after like irking them for years. Have you ever thought about like getting a license for all the colleges and be able to put, UCLA, USC, and have, color branded affinity programs, maybe sell them to alumni as fundraisers, maybe have them for people's home gyms, get an NFL license. Obviously, a lot of people have home gyms from COVID and like to have cool shit that has the logos on it that they have an affinity to. Have you guys thought about that?
Yeah. We haven't thought about that yet. I think due to the fact that to get these very specific colors, I mean, you'd have to do pretty big runs, like thousands of sticks to really kind of make it worth it. So as far as all that color scheme goes.
Gotcha.
Plus, it's kind of nice to like the orange sticks. They stand out too, so there's stick mobility.
Gotcha. And if you look at the youth markets, where do you think the best physical results are for kids? In what sports? Obviously, golf is a given, but if you said, if you're gonna hone in on one or two sports, what are the top two?
I'd say golf for sure, and then baseball.
Gotcha. Cool. And then I'm gonna go through. Give me a second. I want to go through a little lightning round with you here. Are you a morning or afternoon workout guy, or do you work out with your clients?
I prefer morning, but it ends up being like around noon or something like that is when I have time to train.
Yeah. What's you strength or a cardio guy?
Strength. I try to be all around. I'm more interested in athleticism more than anything.
Yeah. Documentaries, comedy, or drama?
Oh man, I say drama.
Okay. You got when you run into business, are you like got OCD, or you like kind of let things flow?
Flow.
All right. And then what's your nutrition plan look like?
My nutrition plan? Yeah. I don't really have one, man. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, so making sure that they eat healthy enough, and then we try to eat all the same stuff. Try not to eat a bunch of junk food, but we eat everything. We don't cut anything out.
Cool. All right, man. Well, we use the term HALO, Health, Active Lifestyle Outdoors, trying to create the HALO effect. Thanks for what you and your partners are doing. And if we can be helpful getting into any of the health club chains or boutique fitness channel, once you guys decide, how to position that and market it, happy to help.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Just an unsolicited testimonial here, Neal. I remember using your product, and I can't remember what trade show it was. It was like it was a long time ago, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I just remember thinking, it's another gimmick, and it's so not. It's so not. So I felt the need to like put this out there, because unless you like sort of put your hands on this thing and use it, it really, it's sort of a game changer. It's not just like a dowel, like we said before we hit record here. It feels good in the hand. It's a well constructed product. So again, unsolicited, I just remember using it at a trade show and walking away pretty impressed. Like, yeah, clearly you guys did your homework when you were formulating this thing. So continued success.
Cool.
I appreciate that, David.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Good luck, and thanks again for taking the time.
Yep.
Good talking to you.